Back here on Driving in the Fast Lane, Frank Sparks, joined now in studio with by Marie Timpano from the Cornerstone of Beaver County. And I called you yesterday and said, hey, do you want to talk about the cooling centers? But then now, after I talked to you, we had this huge problem in New Brighton. So it actually is more appropriate at this point in time with everything that's going on. So first, do you want to just tell everybody a little bit about the Cornerstone of Beaver County, Marie?
Yeah, Frank, and thank you, excuse me, and thank you and the radio station for giving us the opportunity to come on and share this information. So the Cornerstone of Beaver County is a housing and homeless organization. Our main offices are in Beaver Falls, and we also operate the 24-hour emergency men's shelter here in Beaver County as well. But we are here providing services for anyone who is homeless or at risk of becoming homeless. We also, through Duquesne Light's customer assistance program, that Holy Family Institute runs here in the community. We have the Duquesne Light CAP program. We offer Columbia Gas CAP. The Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank is based in our office. So anything that would help individuals get housed, remain housed, support them so that they can stay housed, and also support our community during times like this in extreme weather. So we do operate and help to coordinate throughout the county cooling centers in the summer and warming centers in the winter. And that's really why we're here today, to really talk about that.
Right. So what are the cooling centers throughout? And, we encourage the people of New Brighton, please go to these cooling centers if you are still out of power.
Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, what a crisis right now that a lot of people, not only here in southwestern PA, but across the country and internationally as well. I mean, these temperatures, this extreme heat is truly life-threatening. And so we want to protect our neighbors, our friends, our family members. So the easiest thing you can do is check on folks, right? Mm-hmm. If you have folks or family members that are elderly, have breathing conditions, that might not have a vehicle, can't get to their medications, can't get to the grocery store, etc. Check on them, help them out. Beaver County is a community that supports each other. Now is the time to whip that out. So the cooling centers that we help to coordinate, they provide relief from the heat. We get a lot of comments on our Facebook page and other social media that talks about, well, why are you only open from these hours to these hours? What happens to folks outside of these hours? Well, if you are experiencing a situation that is going to keep you on the streets, or you don't have utilities or something to that effect, that problem is a little bigger than just trying to escape the heat a little bit during the day or get some water, etc. For that purpose, we need you to reach out to us, call us, come in, etc. So I want to talk, again, it's a way to get some relief from the heat, get some water, access to any program services or referrals that we might have, including emergency shelter and housing and utility assistance, as I described before. The Cornerstone of Beaver County at 600 6th Street is not the only cooling center in the county. We have some other amazing partners. The New Brighton Municipal Building also opens up from Monday through Thursday, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., and they're located at 610 3rd Street. You don't have to remember all of this. You can go to the website for the Cornerstone at cornerstonebeaver.org. Check out our Facebook page as well. In Aliquippa, our friends at Uncommon Grounds, Tuesday through Thursday from 9 to 3 at 380 Franklin Avenue. And our buddies at YMCA of Beaver County, Monday through Friday from 5 a.m. until 8:30 p.m. will support you. They're at 2236 3rd Avenue in New Brighton. And then the Coppell Volunteer Fire Department as well. We really appreciate our partners because it's sort of spread out through the county, and they have some different hours, and we're trying to make sure that everybody has a place that they could access if they need it.
Do people utilize these centers?
They do. Not as much as we think they would, but we're always ready. We have my team at the Cornerstone. Shout out to Francie and Chris at the men's facility who are, Francie is prepared. She made sure we had enough cold water in the coolers out there, snacks for people to come in, and plenty. Lisa at the front desk and the rest of us there in the office can help out to give referrals, or again, if it's a problem or a situation where we at the Cornerstone can support you, we're going to do that. If we are not the right organization to look to, we will refer you or look for other resources and supports out there. Please do not suffer. Don't be a hero. Don't be afraid to ask for help. My goodness, over the weekend we had the pleasure, Frank, I ran into you at Beaver County Boom, of watching how Beaver County comes out. It's an amazing community, and we need each other right now. We need to act like the amazing community that we are. Reach out, share information, get people the support that they need to get through this, because it looks like it's going to run probably through the weekend, it sounds like.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
We saw our early estimates saying 125,000 people were at Beaver County Boom on the Bridge over the weekend.
Oh my gosh.
So we can achieve when we want to. That's
we
for sure.
can, and we do, and we've shown that type of resilience and support, and the sense of community. For those of us who grew up here, we know that's
Right.
just the culture and the ethic of this community, and we need that to come out right now.
I've been trying to tell everybody, make sure, especially in this heat, even if you do have, we have this crisis going on in New Brighton with electric right now, but even when you do have electric, check on your neighbors.
Absolutely.
Especially if they're elderly.
Yeah, and I mean, if you have breathing conditions, I have asthma. I'm a little under the weather today, but I walked from the parking lot into the radio station. I got to tell you, it's affecting even me in this situation. If you have lung conditions, if you are elderly, the very young, individuals with any kinds of situations. I mean, we are all at risk potentially. I look at my grass sometimes. I got to get out there and cut the grass. No, you don't. The grass will be there after it cools off. It is really, we really need to take this seriously. These are extreme conditions, and we really need to take heed of that.
And today, possibly breaking a record today.
Oh my gosh.
For heat. I think the hottest day on record today is 95 degrees, but they say we'll possibly break that. And there's a chance if this continues. Hottest day ever was 1988. I think it was July 16th, 103 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
So to be, even when you're in air conditioning, especially, I live in an older house, and a lot of times older houses, it's so hard to get the air conditioning upstairs. So a lot of times the upstairs of a house is very hot, and that's why I try to tell people, still check on your neighbors, because you never know.
Right.
They could be upstairs, they could be sleeping, it could really affect them, and you just have no idea.
Right.
So
I mean, I remember when we were kids, we used to bring all the mattresses downstairs.
Yeah.
I grew up in Pulaski. We drag everything downstairs, sleep on the floor. But you're right, Frank. I mean, that heat index, and I was watching the news last night, I couldn't get over it. Over 100 degrees. It's already into the 80s. I mean, it's not even noontime right now.
yeah, we're already at 87 degrees right now.
Oh my
which
gosh.
is absolutely absurd.
We have really got to look out for each other. And really, I mean, again, don't try to get out there and do, I mean, even a little bit of exposure in this heat can really compromise you. And so, my goodness, please take advantage of the cooling centers. Reach out, call 724-846-6400 if you have a question. Cornerstonebeaver.org. I had the pleasure over the last couple of days of with my co-chair of the committee, the Systems of Care Committee, Melissa Coakley, chairing the Beaver County Behavioral Health. They have their public stakeholder meetings. And so much amazing information from our Office on Aging, our mental health, drug and alcohol, Office of for individuals with intellectual disabilities. There are so many services and supports, all the housing and homeless services through the Community Development Program. So many programs and services, so many sites that you can go to. If there's a service that you need, if you are struggling, reach out and ask. There is, please, no shame in asking for help. That is why we are here. We are here to support each other and try to help you figure out how to get through this. But we need to be here for each other. Again, 724-846-6400, or come down to 600 6th Street to the Cooling Center. And I also named the others that are out there across the community. Thank you again to the partners who are supporting us.
And I've tried to I've told people, like, even at that, go for a walk in the mall and eat. If the cooling centers are closed, find a shopping center, a mall, somewhere, Walmart, just go walk around somewhere that's cool and just cool off.
Right. And also remember, I know the holiday is coming, the 4th of July weekend, but things like alcohol, caffeine, they can be dehydrating.
Right.
So, it's fun to have a good time, but we need to be doing it safely because, a good time can go to a tragedy very quickly. And so please don't, let your holiday turn out in a way that you don't want it to. Be making sure that you're staying hydrated, not consuming alcohol in this extreme heat, not taking in too much caffeine. I'm not a big water drinker. I mean,
I haven't been either, but I'm getting there.
I know. I have to learn to be that because for sure, you got to give your body what it needs during these extreme conditions.
Absolutely. We're visiting with Marie Timpano from the Cornerstone of Beaver County. We're going to take a short break. Noah's got news, and we'll be back with more right after this here on Beaver County Radio.
Beaver County Radio's news source. 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and BeaverCountyRadio.com. Here's Noah Haswell.
Good morning on this Wednesday, July 1st of 2026. There is an extreme heat warning in effect from now until 10 p.m. this Friday. We will have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after we take this look at news. Kroger today announced a definitive agreement under which Kroger will acquire Giant Eagle. Kroger will pay $1.65 billion, comprised of $1.25 billion in cash consideration and the assumption of approximately $400 million in outstanding liabilities. Greg Foran, Chief Executive Officer at Kroger, said, "We evaluated the opportunity carefully, and the strategic fit is clear. Giant Eagle expands our reach into attractive adjacent markets, allowing us to do what we do best: run outstanding stores, deliver fresh foods and convenient meal solutions at affordable prices, and take care of our customers and associates every single day." The companies plan to build on Giant Eagle's long history of community engagement by bringing Kroger's Zero Hunger, Zero Waste impact plan to new communities. The deal is expected to close in 2027. The power remains out for 671 New Brighton residents as of 8 a.m. this morning. The area most affected is between 10th Street and 5th Street on the east side of 5th Avenue in New Brighton. Duquesne Light reported to Beaver County Radio yesterday afternoon that a power outage occurred for nearly 1,500 New Brighton and Beaver Falls area residents due to a cable issue. Power was restored to some of the area shortly after 7 for about 10 minutes before shutting back off until shortly after 8 p.m. We reached out to Duquesne Light this morning to get an update on this situation and have yet to hear anything back. We will continue to update this story as much as possible. Nolan D. Chismeyer of Baden, an emergency room nurse at Heritage Valley Swickley Hospital who was using narcotics he had stolen from the hospital, caused the death of at least 2 patients, according to a 6-count whistleblower lawsuit filed against the health system. The lawsuit alleges that he caused the 2024 death of a 70-year-old woman who came to the emergency room with a non-life-threatening condition and died after he delayed her care, then made an error in administering a medication, according to the lawsuit, which was unsealed on June 15th. In a second instance later that year, Chismeyer denied care to a 47-year-old man who was experiencing symptoms of alcohol withdrawal. The man later died at Allegheny General Hospital after leaving the emergency room without medical attention. The man was later found in the hospital parking lot with a bleeding head wound before he died. The Cornerstone of Beaver County has released the dates, times, and locations of local cooling centers because of the extremely high temperatures this week, and they can be found on our website at beavercountyradio.com. Extreme heat can put people and families at a higher risk for heat-related illnesses such as dehydration, and it can exacerbate pre-existing conditions like mental illness and lung and heart disease. The Zelienople Historical Society, in collaboration with record setters, is organizing an attempt to break 2 world records during Zelienople's 4th of July festivities this year on Saturday, and they involve the most people simultaneously waving American flags and the most people singing the United States national anthem in unison. The Zelienople Historical Society is also looking for a drone operator to document an attempt to set the world record for most people simultaneously waving American flags this Saturday, July 4th at 11 a.m. during Zelienople's 4th of July parade. Their confirmed drone operator stepped aside for unknown reasons at the last minute, and if you are interested in this opportunity, call 724-316-2312 as soon as possible. And the Pittsburgh Penguins traded defenseman Parker Wotherspoon to the Vegas Golden Knights for defenseman Caden Korzak yesterday.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
An extreme heat warning remains in effect through 10 p.m. Friday. Today it'll be sunny, hot, and very humid with highs near 97 and overnight lows dropping to 74. And tomorrow the sunshine and sweltering heat is going to continue. Expect highs in the upper 90s and lows of 76. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
That's a look at the news for now. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM, AM 1230, WBVP, 95.7 FM, and 1460 AM WMBA. Also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Are you or a loved one facing a move? The choices can feel completely overwhelming for families and caregivers, but you don't have to handle it alone. Meet Charlie Jenkins, your trusted community advisor and owner of C. Jenkins Placement Services. Charlie uniquely serves as both a designated seniors real estate specialist and master's level senior living advisor. She'll help you develop a plan to gently downsize and sell your family home, handling every detail with patience, care, and zero pressure. Then Charlie personally finds the perfect independent, assisted, or memory care community that fits your needs and budget. One trusted professional, every detail covered. Call Charlie Jenkins today at 724-714-1774.
95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with WBVP, WMBA, and BeaverCountyRadio.com, invite you to tune in to Sounds of Faith. Tune in Sunday mornings from 7 until 9 for a mix of the best sacred music of all time. Sounds of Faith is brought to you by Crawford Tire and Beaver, the William Murphy Funeral Home, City Rescue Mission, MRS Physical Therapy, Circle of Friends, J&J Spratt Funeral Home, and Rome Monument and Inspirational Gifts. Sounds of Faith, uplifting, relaxing, and inspiring radio. Sunday mornings from 7 until 9 on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with WBVP, WMBA, and BeaverCountyRadio.com. Put freedom in your future. Freedom United Federal Credit Union in Rochester. Weekday mornings were meant to drive in the fast lane. It's Frank Sparks on Beaver County Radio.
Back here on Beaver County Radio talking about cooling centers, and it sounds good to not hear, speaking of cooling centers, to not hear the sounds in the background. I've had this horrible sound for the last 2 days in the background as we didn't have any air conditioning here. So
That's what Curtis said.
Yeah, we were toughing it out for the last few days.
Oh, man.
But
and not a window in sight.
No.
That would help.
Oops, hold on. Making noise here. No, and that's the one thing is, there was not a window in sight. So, but we got the air moving. We had a nice flow, and it was
it
a nice
feels good
working.
in here.
Yeah, it was a nice working environment. And then, we all got out of here as quickly as we could once we had our work done. But now we got the air flowing, and the air conditioning's back on, and it's nice. Nice place to kind of. I'm like, today. I told Tony sometimes it gets too cold there. I'm like, I will never say that to you again.
I hate to admit this, but I do have a small heater in my office, and my team is always like, "What are you doing?" I'm cold I'm not cold right now, but usually I am.
Right, and that's with us. That's how. Same thing. I got my floor in there. I have a heater, and it's usually so cold. I'm gonna put it on a little bit, and it's like now people are like, and I'm like, I'll never say a word again. I promise.
Right.
So, but Marie, we're talking a little bit about some of the cooling centers and things. Marie is the executive director of the Cornerstone of Beaver County. The cooling centers are a huge thing to do, but let's be real here. We have a population, and this is something you guys kind of specialize in, obviously. How do the people right now, and how do you help them? Because sometimes they don't want help. They still want to be out on the streets. But how do you help people in heat like this? Because this has to be just as bad, if not worse, than if it's wintertime and when we had that bitter cold.
Well, you're exactly right, Frank. And my team has encountered individuals who, and for whatever the situation is, do not want to come in from, during the winter. We had those huge snowstorms. But I have team members, Chris Anderson and some of her team members, going to those individuals and supporting them. I mean, we believe in meeting people where they are. Obviously, we're going to do everything we can do to convince you otherwise, because we want you to be safe and offer every opportunity and service that we might have available. But if folks are choosing that, first we would encourage you to make wise decisions, even for the short period of time that these extreme conditions are in place. But we try to support folks where they are. We are fortunate here in our community that we don't have a ton of street homelessness. Our homeless issue looks a little different. A lot of folks doubled up, couch surfing, so to speak. But we do have some folks living outside or living in cars or living in abandoned buildings. And these situations are obviously not safe anytime, but certainly not in these extreme conditions. So the team is out there supporting individuals on the regular and trying to help folks out and convince them otherwise. But, there are supports and there are services. We strongly encourage you to take advantage of those opportunities that are here.
A couple of weeks ago, I had some things, and a lot of times, because people do need help,
Yep.
I'll take different things that are my daughter's or different things that are mine that I'm not using anymore, Like, when I lost weight, I took my clothes down. I always donate them to Miss Val because she's so good we're at your service
Absolutely.
at helping people. A couple weeks ago, I just threw it out there to her. I had given her a bunch of toys, and I said, hey, I got these old, they're not in the best of shape. They're not something somebody can use. I said, these old cushions that went to my outdoor furniture.
Yeah.
Do you have any use for them? I said, they're not the best. I don't know. She goes, yeah, bring them down here. And that's when I came to the realization, I didn't know that, like I was saying, sometimes they just don't want to improve their situation, want to stay where they're at. And she said, I put them out here when I get cushions and stuff like that, and they use them for beds. Yeah. And I was like, we shouldn't be having that in this world.
Right.
Not today.
And and there are many reasons, people make the decisions that they do. Mm-hmm. And again, we are going to continue to meet you where you are and work with you because you are unable in some situations or whatever the cause is. Nobody should be out there, and nobody should have to die or be in a life-threatening situation because they can't find help or they can't or no one is reaching out. And again, that's why we encourage, check on your family members, check on your neighbors, and our team is out there as much as they can be to check on folks. Again, I'll see you on Facebook sometimes, this person's here, this person's there. Please let us know that, but it is likely that we already do know that. We obviously, for confidentiality and privacy reasons, we can't discuss what's happening in individual cases, but many times we are aware and we are trying to engage. And for some reason, it may not be having the outcomes that we would hope for, but we will continue to engage and reach out to individuals.
I seen how bad it was when I had a nephew, and unfortunately, he passed away from an overdose.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And when he was going through it, he burnt, and this is one of the avenues, he burnt all of his bridges. So at one point, he actually was homeless, mm-hmm. and he was living in a burnout house. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of where the light bulb kicked on for me. That's like, wow, we should not be having this. And, and this was before the Cornerstone. And you guys are celebrating 10 years. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
But this was before that. And it was like, we shouldn't have people living in this world, but I also can't bring him into my house. So what do I do at this point?
Sure.
And then he got help and he went to a facility. And then after the facility, he had nowhere to go again. So his only place to go was right back to where he was.
Right. And that's an important point. And again, thank you. We celebrated our 10th anniversary in April of this year. The men's facility just celebrated its 3rd anniversary in June. We opened in June of 2023. So we have just turned 3 years old, and we have served well over 600 men. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that we have developed at the Cornerstone is an aftercare program. So I have very qualified staff, some of whom have lived experience in this situation with homelessness and housing insecurity. And what they are doing is for those who are willing to stay engaged with us, 30, 60, 90 days, a year out, we are continuing to reach out and not only pick up the phone and call, but mobilizing, going to the folks that have left our programs and making sure that they're doing well. And if they hit a bump in the road, sometimes that can be catastrophic for folks, and it can de-escalate, and they can decompensate and end up right back in the homeless system. Mm-hmm. So one of the things we want to make sure of is that that's not happening. And the aftercare program has been hugely successful in helping to support that. That is partially funded through the United Way of Beaver County. We appreciate them. Through Shell Polymers, they support that in part as well. And right now we have a campaign going on with the Right Promise Foundation, where Dr. Carol Sprinker. Oh, man, they're amazing. They are amazing folks. Mm-hmm. And at our 10th anniversary, they announced they are donating $10,000 to the Cornerstone of Beaver County
awesome.
As a matching grant now through August the 31st. Every dollar you give will be doubled and matched up to that $10,000. And that's helping to support programs and services of the Cornerstone of Beaver County that our funding doesn't allow. It gives us that flexible funding to really help programs like that aftercare program so that in cases, again, I'm sorry about your nephew, that doesn't happen, mm-hmm. or at least that we're doing everything that we can to offer supports to try to ensure that doesn't happen. Because oftentimes, it's not just like put somebody in a unit and they're, it's all good. It's such a complex issue, as you know, Frank, and it takes comprehensive supports to help folks through the trauma and tribulations of life, period, that lead us sometimes into crises. So we want to make sure that folks have that support beyond the program, beyond the bed, as we say, so that we can keep them from entering into that system again. And we can get them to self-sufficiency and independence for that year and beyond, back in our community, thriving.
That's been something that's been huge and missing. So that's great.
It is missing, and it's important.
Even years ago when, I would talk with, back then he was Chief DeLuke in Beaver Falls.
Absolutely.
And then,
Chief's still involved, fighting the fight out there.
Awesome. And then Dina Cibatoni, right?
Dina Cibatoni, the head of the COC.
Yeah, when that was all going on, I used to tell them all the time, I was always say to them, I'd say, the aftercare. Yep. There's nothing, you can give them all the help they want, but there's nowhere for them to go when it's over. So they go right back to that situation where they were. And if we have programs that could keep them from that, so that's awesome that these programs are out there.
Yeah, and again, we do realize, Frank, where there are gaps in services, and there remain gaps. No system is perfect, and we get that. Dina, we work with Dina consistently. Tom Kaminsky at the Community Development, our commissioners, and many, many, many others. Beaver County Behavioral Health, the Mental Health Association. I could go on and on and on for the organizations that are out there trying to support. We recognize that the system isn't perfect, and there still remain gaps. We work, believe it, every day. If these answers were simple and the supports and the solutions were easy, I wouldn't be here. This job wouldn't be as sometimes as trying and challenging as it can be. But it's a valuable role. It's a job that I believe in, and I believe in it because, like you, I have had personal experience. My brother Michael, in 1996, died of a drug overdose while homeless in California. My life has been about working with kids and families like I came from in the housing community, at public housing, and to help to ensure to the best of our ability that the Michaels of this world, who I love to this day still grieve, have supports and resources and understand that they are valued and valuable, and we want to make sure that no family has to go through that. But it's not perfect. And that's why, efforts like the Right Promise Foundation of helping us out to support programs and services that we don't have the resources for. And your donations and all of the support, the meals at the shelter, volunteers that come in, every dollar, every little bit helps to really provide a safety net that some in our community need. And we want to make sure that we continue to be there, and we can be there in a big and quality manner.
How much over the 10 years you've been doing this has the government come to this realization and provided more funding? Because I think that's a big lack here, is our government does need to provide more funding, because like I told you, we shouldn't be having homeless people.
We shouldn't, but politics aside, I think that it is, housing, homelessness, the mental health crisis, the drug crisis, all of it, life in general, it is so complex, Frank. I mean, it's just not easy answers to any of this stuff. Again, as I sat through those public stakeholder meetings these last couple of days, I was humbled, honored, pleased to hear all of the supports, and so creative what's going on with YAP and the Zero Suicide Initiative, all of it. Right. But the fact of the matter is that the human condition, I mean, it's hard. Right. We all have lives. There's, we're all struggling with something. Everybody's got a story. And so I think that it's very complex. It takes a very comprehensive, very costly approach to this. And I think that government and every other level out there struggles with what is the answer. We're dumping dollars here or there. This isn't working. That isn't working. You're probably hearing a lot, if you're in this field or you're reading up on it, about the Housing First model, which is a little bit under fire. My thought on that is that, people always want to know, why does it cost so much? It costs us about $500,000 annually to operate our 24-hour emergency men's facility. And the reason being that we have a building to take care of, and utilities and food and staffing, and all of those things. And a leak happens, or this happens, or that happens. And so, it's not cheap. With Housing First, it wasn't just, we'll just ignore all the problems and we'll put people in houses and let them continue on with behaviors or situations that are counterproductive to their success. The point was to wrap those individuals, once that basic need was met, like housing, to wrap them with supports and services. But the fact of the matter is, it's under-resourced. And the resources that need to be there for counseling and other types of supports, that needs to be comprehensive, wraparound, and ongoing. It's not one and done.
Right.
Some folks, it may be. They just need a little push. They just need a little bump. But for others, this could be a long-term battle. And so, I think that that's part of the issue. And so, again, local government, state government, federal government, they're part of the equation. Foundations, the Hillman Foundation, the Pittsburgh Foundation, the Eden Hall Foundation, and many, many others, including our local Right Promise Foundation and others, corporations, businesses, individuals. It really takes a village. It takes a community. And I want to thank Beaver County because you have stepped up. You have supported us.
Right.
You've criticized us, and sometimes, we hear what you're saying, and we try to address. We can't be all things to all people, but we are certainly trying to do the best that we can.
Well, knowing you my whole life, basically.
Your whole life.
I guess so, yeah.
That's almost 60 years for you, right? Okay, I said it.
We'll let it go.
I said it, buddy.
I still got 45 days.
45.
It'd be 59.
It's not as bad as it sounds. Really, it's not.
Oh, it's just
a privilege.
A number.
It is a privilege denied many, so we need to be thankful that we're here.
Yeah, it's just a number. So
it is.
But in all your time doing this and all your working together to get the community, from where it was 10 years ago to where it is now, what's your thoughts? I mean, because it's come a long way.
Yeah, it has come a long way. And, again, I hate to keep harping back on this stakeholder meeting, but I was just telling our Ashley McLaughlin, our deputy director, one of the things is that the housing is at the table, and other services and other providers, we're all at the table together now. Mm-hmm. And 10 years ago, there was some fragmentation of that, some siloing of that. And what I see now, I mean, just at the Cornerstone alone, we have programming with Beaver County Behavioral Health. We have programming with Children and Youth Services. Our shelter staff are part of a team, a comprehensive interdisciplinary team that goes into the jail on a regular basis. Through our partnership with the Primary Health Network, we're offering health care and mental health services in a mobile unit to our individuals at the men's shelter twice a month. So I'm seeing that interdisciplinary, comprehensive wraparound approach because it's not simple. And so that is a huge change from when I first came to the table 10 years ago. I think the other piece is that the narrative and people's understanding of homelessness and individuals who are unhoused has really become people understand it better. People want to understand it more. And that's evidenced by, if you just sit at the shelter at 4:30 every day, the community coming in, bringing food, and not just coming to the door and dropping it off, but talking to the staff, talking to the team. How else can we help? I mean, it is really a community, the solution is really at a community level. And again, I can't say thank you enough to Beaver County, the faith-based community, all the organizations that are out there, folks like you, Frank, that are getting the word out, and others. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being there for those who are in need of our community. We appreciate you more than you know.
So the other day I saw, and I didn't realize this either, so you can sign up to actually provide a meal for the shelter.
You can.
For certain days. So how do you go about that, and kind of like what's the cost of do I just call and order pizza, or how do you do it?
You can do it however you want to do it. I mean, sometimes, so what Chris and the team and Jackie and everybody down at the shelter do is they have a calendar each month, and we have organizations and restaurants. Jeff O'Connor at Rochester Smokehouse and Barbecue for a long time has provided meals on Sundays. Some things some challenges have happened, and so while he's not able to do that, others have stepped up to help us out. But civic groups, church groups, individuals, people in the community, you call in and you say, hey, I'd like to have a meal. I'd like to do it each month, or I want to do it, however you want to do that.
Right.
And you essentially can either prepare a meal for 20 folks. We don't have the luxury of having a commercial kitchen, so we can't necessarily cook elaborate meals.
Gotcha.
Although on Sundays we do. Jan Davis, who works at the facility, she does cooking with Jan, helping the guys to learn some cooking skills. But you can bring it down, we can reheat it, or you can call for pizza or subs or anything like that. And when there are gaps in those days, Chris and the team are putting that out to our communications person, Kelly Burgos Harper, and she's sharing that on social media. And those are the days that we need to fill. We have a local restaurant owner who chooses to be anonymous, but who has supported us through allowing us to order food items so that we can augment and support that situation as well. Because we're getting 3 meals a day and snacks to the gentlemen who are there. And as I mentioned, in 3 years, it's been over 600 men. Many of the men are working, so we can get lunches for them, et cetera. But if you want to help out, you can call 724-846-6400, push 1 for the men's facility, and someone will answer and help you to connect with us if you'd like to volunteer and donate a meal to us. We would appreciate it very much.
So we're talking about cooling centers today.
Yep.
So before we go, do you want to recap a little bit and talk about the cooling centers and where people can go, and if they do need services from the Cornerstone? Because in the past, and this is an attribute to you guys and what you do, in the past when it came to trying to find out where the cooling centers are, you had to go all over the place and call this place, call that place. But now we can just get a hold of Marie, like I did the other day, and say, hey, is there going to be something about the cooling centers so we can, so we can get it all in one place. So I remember years ago, and let's take you back to before when you first started.
Yep.
I asked you a question. I asked you what the Cornerstone stood for.
Well, I think, today I can answer that quite easily. The Cornerstone stands for ensuring that everyone who wants to be off the street has the opportunity to be off the street and have the supports that they need so that they can thrive in this community. Because as I've probably said all along, and I believe today more than ever, that housing is not a privilege. It should be a right for all Americans. As I feel with healthcare and other things, no one should die because they don't have access to the very basic needs in our society. And so we are here to try to educate, inform, and ensure that everyone who needs assistance and is housing insecure or homeless has a place to turn and doesn't have to search the whole community. And I think that 10 years in, most folks know who we are and know how to reach us. And in part, we thank you and the radio station for helping to get that word out. We really appreciate it. But that's what it's all about for us, ensuring that homelessness, our goal someday is to eradicate it, which means that not that there will never be a person who encounters a homeless experience, but that it is brief and that they have the resources and supports that they need, and then it is not recurring. It is not our desire to create a revolving door or to just give handouts to folks. It's to give tools to individuals, to give them what they need to get that leg up and be successful and back in the community.
Well, definitely has turned into, as you said, that first, when you first come in, when you were first named executive director and we talked, that was when I was first starting in radio doing full-time talk. And,
look at you now, Frank.
Yeah, well, see, we both have progressed over years. So, but it truly is. It's a cornerstone of information and everything people need in the community. It's basically one place you come and you show the resources that they can possibly, or help them with resources that they could possibly need.
Correct. And as I mentioned, we cannot be all things to all people. But if we don't have the program or the service, or we don't know the answer, we will help you to find it. And again, there are many supports and services and many organizations and civic groups and faith-based groups who are out there trying to support those in our community. And we are trying to do our best to connect and lift those organizations and entities up so that folks who need resources know where to find them. And right now for the cooling centers, we want to make sure that we're helping to provide relief from that heat. And again, if you're in a situation where, your problem is going to extend between 8 to 4 or after 8:30, you're housing insecure, you're homeless, you don't have utilities, whatever that looks like, you need to reach out so that we can help to support you. But the sites are the Cornerstone of Beaver County at 600 6th Street, 724-846-6400. Our friends at the New Brighton Municipal Building, Monday through Thursday from 8:30 until 4 at 610 3rd Street or 3rd Avenue in New Brighton. Our friends at Uncommon Grounds in Aliquippa, 380 Franklin Avenue, Aliquippa, PA, Tuesday through Thursday from 9 until 3. The YMCA of Beaver County, Monday through Friday from 5 a.m. to 8:30 at 2236 3rd Avenue. What amazing work the YMCA is doing as well. And the Coppell Volunteer Fire Department, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. at 5525 5th Avenue, Coppell, PA. And as Frank mentioned, there are other institutions and malls and places like that. But please reach out, 724-846-6400 or cornerstonebeaver.org. We can, there are those locations are listed, and give us a call if your answer is not easily solved in that method. Give us a call and let us help you to sort of walk through some solutions or referrals that might support you through what is right now literally these extreme conditions that could be life-threatening. And again, want you to celebrate. Happy 4th of July. It's, our 250th. It's amazing.
Right.
But alcohol, caffeine, they can be dehydrating, and that can make a fun celebration turn tragic very easily and very quickly. We want you to celebrate, have a good time, but be safe about it.
Absolutely. Marie, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you, Frank, for the opportunity. I super appreciate it.
All right. Coming up next, it's Town Hall News, followed by local news here on Beaver County Radio.
Oh, I don't want to go back out in that, but I have to.
Who does?
99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls.
If you own a company or a small business, you might have considered advertising on radio. It's smart because radio is still the most far-reaching media outlet today. WBVP and WMBA can get you results. Get more information at beavercountyradio.com.
Put freedom in your future. Freedom United Federal Credit Union in Rochester.